He says in verse 20, and it was not without an oath, speaking of Yeshua. For those who formerly became priests were made such without an oath. The Levitical priests were simply brought into office because of their lineage and because of the fact that they were appointed by their association with the tribe that they were born into, and therefore they could receive appointment into office kind of quite automatically, if you could describe it that way. But when it came to Yeshua, God not only recognizes him as a high priest with an indestructible life, but he is a priest who is brought into his service by an oath. Not so with the Levitical priests. They were made without an oath. But look at this, verse 21. This one was made a priest with an oath by the one who said to him, and again, the writer quotes the book of Psalm, the Lord has sworn and will not change his mind, you are a priest forever. If we go back and read through Psalm 110, we can see that David is talking to someone. Who is the Lord that David's speaking to? Who is the Lord that said unto his Lord? Who is David's Lord? Right? Of course, Yeshua gives us the answer when he says, if the Messiah is a son of David, I'm paraphrasing, then how is it that David refers to the Messiah as his Lord, right? The point being is that God makes an oath to bring Jesus into his high priestly office. The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind, you're a priest forever, speaking of Yeshua. So it's from there that we see this contrast with the Levitical priests. In verse 22, this makes Jesus the guarantor of a better covenant, kritanos diathekes in the Greek. And there's that word better that I was talking about earlier. This contrast that the writer to the book of Hebrews wants to understand between the good and the better, not the bad and the good, but the good versus the better. Jesus is the guarantor of a better covenant, which means that the Levites were the servants of a good covenant. They were the ministers of a good covenant. The former priests, going back to his explanation of the fact that they die, he mentions in verse 23 that they were many in number because they were prevented by death from continuing office, right? Just an explanation of what he mentioned earlier. But Yeshua, again, here's our contrast. Yeshua holds his priesthood permanently because he continues forever. And again, this is a not only description of his life, meaning that Yeshua is forever interceding for us in the heavenlies, but also of the fact that God swearing him into office by an oath is an eternal office. Consequently, he's able to save to the uttermost those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them, right? His office doesn't expire and his life doesn't expire.